Welcome to this latest edition of the Real Deal podcast. I'm your Ril Gerald Quinn, recording this, of course, on a Tuesday, as we really, really are. I know it's like 11 days till spring, but if you're in the DMV right now, it feels not only like spring, feels like summer. As we are in the midst of March Madness, both with the college basketball and with the NBA. A lot of NBA to do on this program. It's obviously a number of signings and trades with the NFL. We're going to begin with the NBA. A big time game last night in terms of Oklahoma City and the Denver Nuggets. They played some great games this year. The last two games have been classics. And last night was just one that you just hope these two teams meet in the playoffs. Shea Gilgeous-Alexander was the MVP, played like the MVP that he is, and seemingly if he doesn't have miss any more significant time, will be the MVP again for the second straight year. Uh, So we'll talk about San Antonio in a minute. But Oklahoma City right now is playing uh, is back to championship form. Um, they had a shaky January. They've regained the best record in basketball, and last night, eh, the depth of talent that they have just cannot be matched by anybody. There's not a team in the NBA that could survive missing four rotation players. I mean, you had no Holmgren, no Hartenstein, Caruso, and Jalen Williams. Those are four rotation players, three starters. Hartenstein, Jalen Williams, and Chet Holmgren. And they took out a Denver team that had to be just Denver coming off an embarrassing loss to the Knicks. Uh, just on just I mean, they got ran out of the gym by the Knicks at home by 39 points. Um, and you remember what transpired, of course, 10 days ago with Oklahoma City and the Lou Dort Joker, the Joker situation, where Lou Dort, of course, got ejected for a flagrant two, taking out Joker, making it just a unnecessary play on Joker. So everything was right there for Denver to win that basketball game. But you have a guy in Shea Gilgeous-Alexander who wants to be the best player in the world, wants to be recognized as the best player in the world. I'm sure Shea Gilgeous-Alexander feels like he's the best player in the world. Finals MVP, last year's MVP, putting up ridiculous numbers. He's on pace for a fourth straight year of averaging 30 points on over 50% shooting, which will have never been done before by any player, any guard in NBA history. Um, his last five games against Denver, he's at 35. He's averaging 34 points, five assists, 9 rebounds on 59% shooting, 45% from the three, and 86% from the line. He has destroyed Denver this year, and these are the last five games. This is going back to the last two playoff games 6 and 7 of last year, of last season's conference semifinal, when they beat Denver in 7 games. He takes these games personal. There's no, Joker has been universally regarded since 2022, 2023, as the heads and shoulders, the number one player in the world. Um, please don't get confused with this American pushback, this Anthony Edwards narrative that American basketball players are just trying to push, like, and agents as well. I've heard Carmelo Anthony and Rich Paul say that Anthony Edwards is the best player in the world, and it was just, in all due respect to Anthony Edwards, is frankly ridiculous because he's not even the best American player, let alone the best player in the world, let alone the best all around player in the world. But that's a whole nother conversation for another day. But this is about SGA. Um, you have to remember, Oklahoma City has the fifth most games lost to injury this year. Okay, they have not been whole this entire season for a significant portion of the season. SGA last night in this game, he goes 34, goes 34, 9, and 15. Um, I'll pull up his numbers here. He goes 35, 9, and 15. No turnovers, 15 assists, no turnovers. The um, first player since LeBron James to go 15 or more assists with no turnovers. LeBron had like a 35 and 17 with no turnovers back in 2018, his last season with the Cleveland Cavaliers. Um, he is headed like he is heading into that territory of not only being the best player in the world, but yeah, in the conversation of being maybe the best guard um, since Kobe. I mean, we just got to be honest with you. Like what he's doing right now, this is 4 straight years All NBA, 4 straight years of just of being one of the best pure scorers in the league on ridiculous efficiency. And Oklahoma City has a boatload of talented players. They have a number of just talented players. They're one of the deepest teams that in the league that the league has seen in a long time. I mean, they got guys. They they have at least, I would say, they might have at least 10 guys on their team that could probably start for another team. When you look at this, I mean, I mean, like, these guys, Jalen Williams, has had had 29 points last night, 29 and 12, a couple of blocks. There are some teams that Jalen Williams could be a starting center on. When you look at like there are a number of teams there are a few teams that he could start for. I mean, AJ Mitchell, like these guys, they have a number of guys. They go when they're all healthy, they can go 12 deep easily. And it's gonna be interesting. It's gonna be interesting to see who plays and who doesn't over the course of the playoffs. Like they're going, like in the playoffs, you have to cut your rotation. You can't play 10 to 12 players in the playoffs. They will and they'll have their rotation anywhere from 8 to 9 at the most. But depending on the series, like they can really match up depending on the series. Last night they had no size last night, so they go 5 out and they just destroyed Denver with the dribble penetration, kick out the 3-point shooters. They shot the ball well from the 3-point line. 19 to 47 took, and that is again, give Dagnall all the credit in the world for again adjusting the game plan. And Denver has been a bottom half defensive team um, for the last basically month or so. Last 30 games, they've been bad defensively. Um, yeah, they give a lot of open looks. They made the shot. Oklahoma City made the shots, made them pay, and SGA was out there playing 4D chess. Like um, he was picking Denver apart with his passing. He looked as comfortable as somebody could look with two defenders being on him, with the blitzes that they were throwing at him. Um, he has elevated himself into a chess master, that type of player where he sees plays before they come in. He's become a above average playmaker. And it's not just with the scoring. It's not just with the willingness to take more threes. It is this guy. You can see that again. You can see that he wants to be the best, known as the best player in the world. And it's been a while since we've had that type of conversation, um, where you have one player chasing another. I guess you have to go back to Steph Curry, LeBron 10 years ago when LeBron was the best player in the world. But Steph Curry is coming off a championship, coming off. He wins the championship in 2015. They break the all-time record wins in the regular season with the 73 wins the following season, and it's looking like Steph Curry at that point was clearly the most exciting player in the NBA, and there was talk that if they win that championship, beat Golden State. If Golden State wins that championship and Curry plays well, we would have in 2016 we would have recognized Steph Curry as the best player in the world, but it was not to be. It was certainly not to be. We know what happened with the 3-1 comeback from Cleveland, and LeBron basically brushed that aside, and Steph Curry was never heard from again as terms of in the conversation for best player on the planet. So that's like the last time. I mean, Durant overtook LeBron, I thought, in 17 and 18 with those performances. He finally caught up to LeBron after all those years of basically being number two for about 5 or 6 years. Um, and I recognize that. I don't think it was, but that even that wasn't universally recognized because people immediately, jumped on Durant about joining the 73 win team following their loss to Oklahoma City, following their loss to um, following their loss to Denver, not Denver, but Golden State in 2016. But this is, these two guys in terms of SGA and Joker and Joker was phenomenal last night, by the way. He made every big play, especially in the fourth quarter. Has made some big threes, made some big plays with his passing. This basically was a SGA Joker showdown the fourth quarter, especially the last 3 to 4 minutes where those guys are going back and forth. But this year, the gap, without question, as phenomenal as Joker was playing before the injury. Like right now, like you have SGA for a guard is shooting 55% from the field as a true guard. As a guard, shooting 55% from the field. And again, he's carried this team. This team has had the best record, has the best record, playing some of their best basketball of the season. I know they started out the season 24-1, were demolishing people, but they are playing right now. They're playing excellent basketball. They're going to get all their players back. And it's gotten to a point where I don't know if they even have to have Jalen Williams be Jalen Williams of 2025, the All NBA, All NBA third team, second team All defense. I don't know if he's not that player. I'm not so sure it matters. To be honest with you, the depth of talent that they have, um, I've like they are a better balanced team this year than they were last year. They are better equipped to me now to win the championship this year than they were last year. 20 and 10 in clutch games. They have the best net rating and point differential. So when they get to the playoffs, they've been great in these clutch games. In these clutch games, um, during the season, and right, SGA leads the NBA in clutch scoring, in scoring during the clutch time. The guy took it in his game to another level as far as he no longer has to just score to be effective. He can affect the games. He can rebound the ball for his position, and he can pick people apart with the pass. Again, they will go into the playoffs as the team to beat. I know a lot of people are high on San Antonio. I know a lot of people are high on San Antonio. Denver's always respected with their core and what they can do with Joker, Jamal Murray. Aaron Gordon is back. Aaron Gordon played well in the first quarter, but maybe got worn down as the game went along. That was a fast-paced game. It was a very strange game. First quarter looked like an all-star game. Second quarter looked like a playoff game, and then the second half was kind of seemingly going back and forth. Oklahoma City kind of took control in the fourth quarter, but Denver rallied back, never out of the game when you got Joker and Jamal Murray, who have one of the best still one of the best two man tandems in the league, especially down the stretch in clutch time. But that was a special, that was just a classic game last night between two teams that we will see in um, hopefully we'll see in the playoffs. Big game tonight in the NBA in regards to Boston, San Antonio. San Antonio is playing as well, probably playing better basketball than anybody in the league right now. They absolutely manhandled Houston on Sunday night. They've had a number. They've beaten more teams over 500. 500. They have one of the better. They have one of the best records against 500 teams with a 500 record in the league. Wembanyama right now, I think if you know, SGA Joker Wembanyama would be the MVP to me. Those are your top three MVPs with Jalen Brown and Cade Cunningham. You can flip flop those if you however you want. I'll probably go Jalen and Cade. Had no problem with Cade being fourth, but those guys are fighting fourth and fifth. The top three MVPs are to me clear cut right now. I mean, is again SGA, Joker, and Wembanyama. Um, San Antonio's been spectacular. They play great basketball together. They're exciting. They're fun to watch. Um, they, you know, over OKC, Denver slips up. San Antonio could be right there, possibly in the NBA Finals. Again, my history of watching basketball, you don't see a team go from not making the playoffs to winning an NBA championship unless something dramatic happens with off season acquisitions like what transpired with the Celtics back in 2007 when they added Ray Allen and Kevin Garnett, excuse me, to a team that already that had Paul Pierce. So you had three Hall of Famers basically, in their prime or in Ray Allen's case, maybe the end of his prime, but Garnett and Paul Pierce were still probably two of the top 15 to 20 players during that particular time. KG probably was the one in that particular time, still was legit top 5 to 10 player, and legit MVP candidate that season. He was and one defensive player of the year that first season. So outside that, there's normally steps of progression that teams have to take. You have to get that first playoff win or that first playoff loss under your belt. But again, it's been a very, very strange year in the NBA with all these injuries and with everything that's going on with the fluctuation of inconsistency of some of these teams. We'll talk about the Knicks in a minute when we deep dive the Eastern Conference. But right now, SGA and Oklahoma City look like a team that is poised to take home another championship. And right now, and absolutely should be the favorites, not overwhelming favorites, not prohibitive favorites, but the favorites to be the last team standing in June. Deep dive the Eastern Conference for a second. A lot going on in the Eastern Conference, especially at the top of the Eastern Conference. First, Jason Tatum come back. He's played 2 games, uh, both 27 minutes. You would not be able to tell that this guy was just tore his Achilles last May. To be honest with you, uh, it is remarkable how well he's looked in these 2 games. Game one against Dallas, yeah, he came out was like 0 for 6, wasn't making shots. Then had a stretch where he made like 5 straight shots. But the rebounding, the playmaking, him defensively, that has not went away whatsoever. And listen, it was only going to be a matter of conditioning, a matter of learning some of the new teammates that he's had. This course is a completely different team than the one he played on last year. No Drew Holiday, no Porzingis, no those guys, Al Horford. Those guys are gone, and he has a bunch of new role players. But The idea that Jason Tatum was coming back and was going to be try to be a role player and just try to fit in, that just shit wasn't going to happen. Like Jason Tatum was coming back to be Jason Tatum. He was coming back to game one. You saw, I thought his teammates were deferring to him maybe too much. He was going to like Jason. Like I have to trust the Boston doctors and that franchise, which has been one of the better. It pains me to say it as a Laker fan, but they have been one of the better run franchises in the NBA. That they were not going to risk his future. With he has over a $300 million contract. But they were not going to risk his future. That he absolutely was ready to come back. He apparently was doing 5-on-5 for over a month. He again looked incredible both games. I don't even care about the shooting. That will come, but the movement, the getting to the rim, uh, just again, you would not been able to tell that this dude was out of basketball, that he had torn his Achilles. Just remarkable how he's looked. And listen, right now the East is right there for the Celtics. That Cleveland game on Sunday, it just was an embarrassing performance for a Cleveland team who has NBA Finals aspirations of their own. They go out there and make the trade for James Harden. Uh, make a trade for James Harden. I understand it. James Harden has played great during his time with Cleveland when healthy. I know he missed a couple games. I know he missed a couple games not too long ago, but he was back on Sunday. And for about a for about 2.5 quarters, I mean, Cleveland looked like they were just going through emotions, and I did not like that approach by them in a game of that magnitude, playing against a team that you're probably going to see in the playoffs. Like that game was not a big deal for Boston. Um, they have enough guys that have been there, that still have some guys that are left over that won a championship in 24, that have a ton of playoff experience mixed in with some of the newer guys that had, but that they brought in. But the core of that Boston team is Tatum, Brown, Eric White, Pritchard. Those guys. Uh, those guys. That is the core. They have a White who's been spectacular this year. So I was not concerned if Boston had lost that game. I was looking to see what Cleveland would do. And home game, national television, they lose a close, tightly contested game is one thing, but they basically got manhandled by Boston. They got close, got relatively somewhat close, respectable at in the fourth quarter, but that was a double-digit game for the most part. In that 15 to 20 point radius. And I just not did not like what I saw out of Cleveland with that performance. Uh, Detroit, Detroit is struggling, has struggled of late. They got embarrassed by the Miami Heat. So to me, I look at the top of the Eastern Conference. Uh, you go and in regards to the Knicks, the Knicks had come into the weekend, coming into Sunday in LA. The Knicks are playing actually they're absolutely playing excellent basketball. They get to LA, they get embarrassed by the Lakers on a Sunday afternoon game, and then they drop a game against they drop a game to the Clippers last night. Uh, I don't I'm not a Knicks fan. The Knicks had a played great in a loss against Oklahoma City. I think we can all agree that that was a good loss. Certainly a winnable game at Oklahoma City. They could have won that game, but I would think, despite how many players Oklahoma City was missing, that's still I would consider that a good loss. They embarrassed Denver in Denver. I mean, absolutely took Denver apart. in Denver on Friday night, inexplicably lose back-to-back games to the Lakers and Clippers. Now again, Lakers have played better without LeBron, so I can't. I'm not gonna say that it probably hurt the Knicks that LeBron. They might have been better off if LeBron would have played, considering some of the numbers that Luca and Austin Reeves, their plus minus numbers when LeBron is out. Lakers with those guys start, Lakers are 9-2. Plus almost a plus 13 rating. That rating with LeBron out, 13-7 overall when LeBron 13-7 overall this year when LeBron has missed a game. So the Eastern Conference right now, to me, I still think it is a three-horse race with those three at the top: Boston, Boston, New York, and Cleveland in that order. Um, Keep your eyes on the Miami Heat. I watched the game. I watched them against Detroit, and they right now, Miami would be looking at the standings right now. Miami's in the seventh spot right now. They're basically in a tie with Orlando. More wins, but more losses. Percentage points behind Orlando for that sixth spot. They've won five straight. Orlando's played well of late as play well of late also. Um, you really, if you're New York Knicks, who are in that third spot, even if you're Cleveland, I wouldn't want any part of Miami in a first round matchup. Miami has found they over again 10-5 in their last 15 games. They are they have the second best net rating at 11.1 during that time span, during that time frame. Fourth offense, they rank fourth offensively and defensively in defensive rating. Tyler Hero's playing great. Bam was playing great. They are getting contributions from a lot of role players, shooters, what have you. They've been great offensively basically all year long. The defense is turned up. We know Eric Spoelstra in a playoff series can coach and outcoach anyone in the league. We know what he can do. They are due to have one of those Miami playoff runs, not to get to the finals, but to really upset somebody and possibly make a run to the conference semis or even conference finals. They're due for that. They go to the finals in 2023. Uh, been eliminated the last 2 years, um, in 24, 25. Coming off the Jimmy Butler situation, which obviously did not end well. They got embarrassed last year in the playoffs. Don't think they're not. If they go out this year in the first round, it will be an absolute knockdown, drag out fight for them going out. They're not going out quietly this year. It's not going out quietly. It's still a prideful organization. That is still a team that believes in itself. That is still a team that's still mentally tough. Again, those two guys have been on finals teams, and Bam and Tyler Hero. Remember that. Um, they got shooters. They have again. I wouldn't want any part. I'd rather play Orlando. I'd rather play Toronto. I wouldn't want any part of that Miami team in the first round. I'd rather play Philadelphia and whoever. Like, look, if I'm the Knicks, I would be. If you finish that third seed, I would be for Miami to be in the play-in. Rooting for Miami to be in the play-in. I'd rather play Toronto or Orlando, but I wouldn't want any part of Miami first round if you're the Knicks or if you're Cleveland. Boston has created some separation with the Knicks 3 games, 4 games in the loss column. So really, you have a situation where between 3 and 5 in the Eastern Conference, there's like about 3.5 games separate between Knicks and Toronto. I don't think the Knicks are going to fall to five. I think you're going to have the Knicks and Cleveland battling for that 3-4 spot, for that third spot. And, basically, you have Toronto, Orlando, Miami. Yeah, Toronto, Orlando, Miami, and Philadelphia. Well, basically, around Toronto, Orlando, Miami. Uh, but that's 5, 6, 7. Those spots. Philadelphia looks dead in the water with all the injuries. I don't have any faith in them whatsoever. I still that it probably they'll still be in the play-in because um, Milwaukee is going into the tank. So my Philadelphia is still in the play. Overall, if I'm up top of the Eastern Conference playing Miami in the first round, I would not. That's not going to be that. That would be that's not going to be an easy matchup in the first round. The way they're playing again, they are tailor made for the playoffs. They are built for the playoffs. Period. Point blank. Especially this year. Again, I don't see them having three straight seasons where they just bow in the postseason and just lay an egg in the postseason. They are due for one of these great, excellent postseason runs. Number of NFL moves. I'll shift gears to the NFL right now. They have a number of moves in regards to cuts and signings. First of all, um, and some trades as well. First, let's deal with what's happened over the weekend and even yesterday. Max Crosby over the weekend. Max Crosby goes to Baltimore for two first round picks. Um, we know how bad Baltimore's pass rush was last year. It was one of the worst pass rushes in the league. Baltimore pulled it together late last half of the season, but for the most part, their defense couldn't stop anybody, especially in the first half of the season. They were one of the worst Baltimore defenses that we've ever seen in that franchise's history. You know, really, literally one of their worst defensive performances. You get a top pass rusher, a guy that's still in Max Crosby, getting these guys from the Raiders. I'm telling you right now, he's gonna seem like he was freed from prison. Like we saw what Randy Moss did years back when he got to one of the better organizations. People thought he might be slowing down, he might be cooked, and he goes out there in year one and sets a record for touchdown receptions on that 2007 Patriot team, and ended up having a great 2 to 3 years uh, for um, for the Raiders. Excuse me, for the New England Patriots. Um, Crosby is only 28 years old. Uh, Last year, he only played, you know, had 10 sacks last year. But we understand when this guy is right, this guy is a legitimate top 10 defensive player. He's been all pro 3 times, uh, 5-time Pro Bowler. This guy is a big time player. And I think again with that culture, with some of they still have some nice pieces defensively. I think a absolute home run for the Baltimore Colts getting that guy like that. And yeah, people complain about the picks. Like, what did the Rams say? What did the Rams say? Fuck those picks. Like those picks, when you are, it is the Baltimore Ravens are in. This is the most important year in the Lamar Jackson tenure for the Baltimore Ravens. They are in absolute win now mode. Period. Point blank. They have to win right now. So this is go all in, spend all the money, make trades, go all they do whatever it takes, and they absolutely hit a home run with this trade, landing Max Crosby. Again, only 28 years old, so you can get a premium pass rusher under the age of 30. To me, I think absolutely was a no brainer uh, for for the Baltimore Ravens. Tua Tagovailoa, of course, was released by the Miami Dolphins. Um, Dead cap space of $99 million of dead cap space. That's how bad they wanted him out the building. They were willing to pay him. Like they're going to be paying him for the next 2 years, and he's going to be on their cap for the next 2 years. But they were like, you know what? It's time to go. He gets picked up by Atlanta, like immediately. Again, I understand the idea that you're not paying them any money if you're Atlanta. It's Miami's picking up the majority of the salary, but I don't I don't see a reclamation project with Tua like I would like with a Kyler Murray. I'm sorry, or like we've seen with a Baker Mayfield or some guy Sam Darnold. I mean, we didn't see Sam Darnold coming, but this one's not going to work out. Like again, I don't understand what you're doing if you're Atlanta taking a risk at this guy, even making no money. I Tua to me, the guy again, this dude has had his brains rocked for the past couple of years. He is a concussion waiting to happen. Um, Even when he was putting up numbers with Miami, they had superior personnel around him. McDaniels at that point was a very good, call in terms of play calling. McDaniels had a couple of good years where he was actually decent, excellent at play calling. I don't like you bring my again. Atlanta has a lot of talent. They have a lot of talent. Now, if you're telling me if the plan is, hey, he's going to bridge us to 2027, and if you don't have any real expectations for this year, I still wouldn't do it. But that's one thing. But Atlanta, they're trying to win this year. Like Atlanta wants to make the playoffs this year. Period. They want to make the playoffs. So again, I don't see it with Tua. Um, I don't understand. Again, even making no money, I don't understand what Atlanta sees in Tua. You think about again, Miami is going to be paying him, and just like is going to be paying him $99 million of dead cap space. Like it, $99 million. That is the largest amount of dead cap space a team has had. Uh, Surpasses Russell Wilson's in 2024 for $85 million by 14 million. That's how badly they wanted him out. Um, Again, he's gonna be a 67 a $67.4 million cap hit this year and 31 million next year. So it that like I again I wouldn't trust it. Again I don't understand what Atlanta's doing with him, especially with the concussion. I don't get it. Like no one was willing to touch him. No one wanted any part of him. No one. So if you're Atlanta and the plan is to win this year, I you're not winning with that guy. Like again, I don't get it. Again, I don't see how you choose him over Kyler Murray. I'm sorry, I don't. I don't see how you choose him over Kyler Murray. To me, it's not even close. Not even close. So it is going like if you're Atlanta, eh, if you're Atlanta, you are really throwing darts, to say the least. You're really throwing darts at that one. Um, Couple of moves that are made by some teams again, by some teams that of note. speaking of Miami signs as expected. Not we had this last week as one of the possible landing places for a free agent quarterback. Malik Willis going to Miami. Not certainly not surprised whatsoever by that. Willis um, gets. I don't know if the contract terms are out right now. 3 years, 3 years, $67 million, $22 million signing bonus, 45 guaranteed, annual salary of $22.5 million. That's probably that is a market value contract. I mean, he's been a career backup. He played well, played extremely well last year when Jordan Love was hurt for Green Bay. That's that. Listen, that's a fit. That's yeah. That's about what you're going to pay. Um, that's about what you're going to pay a starting NFL quarterback with no who had no previous was not starting from the previous season and was coming off a good season, not a great season, but a solid season. That 27 years old. He will only count against their cap. Their cap hit for this year will be $8.6 million. 2027, $28 million. And then of course there's a potential out. He has a potential out after 27 where depending on how he plays, he could cash in or they could, outright get rid of him. And where it will only cost them like $7 million in dead cap space. So, I think it's a deal if you're Miami. It's one of those things where you just, it's like you want the stink of Tua, just the fact that you paid this guy $99 million to go away, that you almost like you immediately had to sign Malik Willis to get your fan base to forget about one of the worst quarterback contracts outside of Deshaun Watson, probably one of the worst quarterback contracts of this decade. So from a standpoint of just morale and now getting a starting quarterback, getting a guy who we don't know Malik Willis how well Malik Willis would be as a consistent starting quarterback, but that remains to be seen. And certainly had a lot of talent around him in Green Bay. Structured. Matt LaFleur is considered considered a excellent offensive coach. So we don't know how that will translate to a franchise that is clearly in transition to a franchise that has been bad, was horrible this year. But if you're Miami, you probably had to make this move to again just whisk away the stink of of the Tua contract and the Tua tenure, which ended miserably and ended up being a absolute shit show disaster for the Miami Dolphins. Um, the Ravens were not the only contender that kind of that reloaded and retooled. Kansas City trades former All Pro Trent McDuffie to the Rams. Kansas City now has a two. Kansas City now has two first round picks, um, 9 and 29, and a extra fifth and sixth round pick, uh, and an extra fifth and sixth round pick this year, and a extra third round pick in 2027. And of course, the Rams get a Trent McDuffie who was an All Pro at one point in his career, still a very young player, and they still a very young player. This is one of these deals that, again, this is absolutely a win now deal for the Los Angeles Rams. The Rams secondary was a weak point without question. Was a weak point. Um, so you get a guy again. They had an extra pick. They still have a first round pick this year. So they still have the 13th pick from Atlanta. So keep that in mind. He's only 25 years old. McDuffie, well, obviously was not great this year, but he's only 25 years old, and they obviously thought much of him as he signed this year, signed the largest contract ever for a cornerback. which market value you pay of what you give a guy that type of what you trade the type of assets they did for McDuffie. That's what normally happens. Kansas City, listen, I Kansas City has done these types of. They seemingly know when to get rid of players. I'm not saying that McDuffie is going to go out there and be terrible, because if you remember when they traded about 4 years ago in the 2022 offseason, in the spring of 2022, they trade Tyreek Hill. Tyreek Hill had some great seasons with Miami. Make no mistake about it. Had one season where he was challenging the 2,000 yard, the NFL receiving record, and possibly running 2,000 yards receiving. So he had an excellent, he had some good years with Miami, but Kansas City clearly won that trade as they would go on to win back-to-back Super Bowls in 2020, 22, and 23. Kansas City makes this deal. They have some extra picks. They go out there and sign Kenneth Walker the third, the Super Bowl MVP, and they're going to have extra picks this year. So Kansas City already reloading. They're not going to, of course, I mean, listen, I'd be surprised if Patrick Mahomes was ready to start the season, but it's seemingly like he's not going to miss a lot of time. So Kansas City's going to be back in 2026 for sure. Um, Again, they're going to remember they're going to have a instead of they've had years in terms of the scheduling. We've been accustomed to Kansas City every year having a first place schedule. This year they will have a third place schedule. So absolutely keep that in mind coming into this year when you start making bets for the Super Bowl or AFC Championship. So excellent trade to me. I like the trade for both these teams. Both these teams are in win now mode. Kansas City is a team that knows when to pivot off players, especially star players, at the right time. And the Rams, listen, the Rams are absolutely all in. They don't know. I mean, who knows how many years Stafford has left, especially at MVP level. And they had to make a move to address that cornerback situation, which was not good. It was one of the weak points of their defense. McDuffie deal, by the way, um, 4 years, 124 million, 100 million guaranteed. It doesn't have the particulars yet on the deal, but he is the highest paid cornerback in NFL history with the $100 million guarantee. Again, McDuffie, when he's right, was one of the top quarterbacks in the league in 2020. 2022 to 2024. He was a top cornerback. This year, he slipped a bit, but not that much. So I understand it. If I in Kansas City, I understand it. If you're Kansas City, I understand the move. They can do something with those draft with that extra draft pick. That extra third round for 2027 is valuable. Having two third round picks for 2027, so I completely understand that deal for both of these teams. Before I let you go, just a thought on the NBA. The NBA made a decision yesterday to cancel the Magic City promotion from that Magic City promotion that was going to be organized by the Atlanta Hawks. Atlanta Hawks were going to do an entire just promotion, paying tribute to the cultural to the iconic institution, the Atlanta Magic City, of course, world famous strip club in Atlanta. They was had the Ti concert, the whole Magic City hoodies, that whole ordeal. The NBA was like, nah, we're not sponsoring this. We're not going to be connected to this. Luke Cornett came out, spoke about it against it. Let me give you the Luke Cornett. Um, you the Luke Cornett statement here. The NBA should desire to protect and esteem women, many of whom work diligently every day to make this the best basketball. Here it comes. The NBA should desire to protect and esteem women, many of whom work diligently every day to make this the best basketball league in the world. We should promote an atmosphere that is protective and respectful of daughters, wives, sisters, mothers, and partners that we know and love. Allowing this night to go forward without protest would reflect poorly on us as an NBA community, specifically in being complicit in the potential objectification and mistreatment of women in our society. Regardless of how a woman finds her way into the adult entertainment industry, many in this space experience abuse, harassment, and violence to which they should never be subjected. Um, Al Horford agreed with Luke Cornett. Draymond Green disagreed. Draymond Green says, I object to what Luke Cornett said. I think to point out that self esteem issues because that's the line of work the dancers chose. I actually think this is less protective of women because you're condemning something that's actually an art. Okay, Draymond. Um, here's here's what I'll say about this. In NBA canceled it. I know Jeff Teague wasn't with it on 520. No, it wasn't. Disagree with Luke Cornett. Culture, the, the city, of course, is a staple in the culture. Like and people from outside Atlanta would not understand. Would not understand. The NBA, right? There has to be a space of the NBA had nothing to gain by allowing this other than money when you think about it. Like, if you think about what the NBA did in canceling this event, what did they accomplish? They protect the women and they make no money from it. What in society is prevalent as we in 2026? The women not being protected and people in capitalism in regards to we criticize leagues, we criticize society for doing anything for a dollar. And in this case, the NBA went completely opposite of that. I don't see how you can criticize the NBA for this decision. I really don't. I like there are a lot of things about Atlanta that are more impressive from a cultural standpoint than Magic City. I'm sorry, like Atlanta, Magic City is not. Atlanta is known for a lot in terms of our society, in terms of culture. Like Atlanta is rich, restaurants, museums, all types of shit. The arts. Atlanta is like it's Atlanta. That's all I need to say. Um, if you're the NBA again, there was nothing to be gained if you're an NBA. by celebrating this. And I saw a number of people online. I really thought that it would be more about. I thought Luke Cornett would take more heat. There actually were more people I thought that agree with him than I expected. There were strippers, people online, Instagram, Twitter, who claimed to be strippers, who wasn't with this. Okay, I saw a number of fans who applaud Adam Silver and the NBA for doing this. So I, I think I'm not sitting up here trying to sit on my high horse and be Mr. Morale, uh, like my shit don't stink. But if you're a sports league, if you're the NBA, eh, this just not is really necessary for you to be a part of this. It really like there's no win in this situation if you're in the NBA. The NBA goes along with this. There would have been a crowd of people, a horde of people who would have been like, damn, now the NBA wants to exploit are going out their way to exploit women. Um, yeah, I'm telling you, I know I know what people would have been saying the NBA when the step up. I absolutely know what shit. So I, I'm telling you, it has been. I mean, NBA has to draw a line somewhere they have to draw a line. There, there's no reason. There's no reason for the NBA to support this. There's no reason outside of financial. There's literally no reason to support this. So they protect women and don't take the money. I don't see why anybody would have a problem with the NBA from that standpoint in terms of that decision making. Yeah, we see these sports leagues. Uh, we've seen the NFL for years take every single dollar and not protect women. Uh, someone like through various situations. I mean, you can criticize the NBA. I mean, if you want, I mean, there are a number of domestic violence situations in both the NFL and the NBA. We've been critical, and we've been as a society and media alike, certain parts of certain media have been critical of the handling or mishandling of certain of cases involving domestic violence, and rightfully so. So the time that the NBA, a league, is trying to protect women, people have a problem with it. I I don't understand it. I don't get it. So I again, I'm not knocking the NBA at all with this decision. I completely understand it. Um, and again, I'm not denying the importance of Magic City to the city of Atlanta. It clearly is a cultural staple. It clearly is a place that is known all over the country. But I want the people let people in Atlanta know there's more to Atlanta than Magic City. Like you like that's not shouldn't be yeah, that shouldn't be like, oh, if we can't celebrate Magic City, we're fucked in terms of being able to celebrate the city of Atlanta. Like you have a lot. There's a lot in Atlanta to celebrate. And like it's not that's Magic City is not the one and only thing. Like it's not like you take Magic City away, Atlanta is still Atlanta. Like Magic City does not make Atlanta. It's a part of Atlanta. It doesn't make Atlanta per se. So I absolutely had no problem with it. Um, again, I find it ironic in a society that does not protect women at times. Um, when someone steps up and and in their way chooses to protect women, y'all kick it. You kick his back in. You tell him he ain't shit. It's not you're not part of the culture. This is black people's business. Again, that's another problem. Like connecting stripping with black culture. Yeah, we want to go down that road? Do we really want to be? Do we? I mean, that's a whole other conversation. But I would like people to really think about that statement for a second. in terms of like wanting to be a part of, wanting to be connected with that, and considering what everything that comes with that business, that and the effects that that business has outside the money on the lives that on in terms of lives and the impact that it's had. Um, I have not seen the Magic City documentary on Stars. I can't. I'm going to watch it at one point. But listen, listen. I have no problem with the decision that the NBA made. Um, I wouldn't have went crazy if they would have if they would have let it go. To be honest with you, I wouldn't have went too crazy about it. I would have wondered. I would have been. I don't think it would have been a good look for the league. But the NBA just decided, hey, this is some money. This was some financial. This was some money that we didn't need. This was we love money. We love promoting the league. We love we want to grow the league. We don't want to grow. This is not how we want to grow the league. And I think again, considering the NFL will go chase every single dollar known to man and do it at the sacrifice players' bodies, possibly with another 18 game schedule. Have these ridiculous, you know, scheduling, having teams travel overseas and all this other shit. And y'all won't say nothing about that, but comes to this, and the league is actually protecting a group of people. You you know want to take heed with that shit on that. Want to shit. Again, Adam Silver is not perfect. I'm not the biggest Adam Silver fan. He has a lot on his plate. A lot. He has some things to fix. But Adam Silver got this one right. That's going to wrap it up for this latest edition of the Real Deal podcast. Hope everybody enjoys the rest of your week. I will see you next time. So long.